Hi everybody, today we are going to look at language development and discuss why it is important. In this short tutorial, we will uncover key components that drive language development that leads to literacy and academic achievement. If that's what you are interested to find out, stay tuned. Today, we are going to go through this very busy slide here. But I want us to focus our attention on this first highlighted portion. In this portion, I will draw your attention to three keywords: audition, language, and literacy. Notice how they link up. The three main words summarizes what the child learns from 0 to 6 years of their lives, and this sets the trajectory for academic success. When these three main milestones line up, we are headed for academic success. So we start at the beginning. Audition. As humans, we are born with our senses and we use it to make sense of the world around us. So, for children to make sense of language and to use it effectively, they have to tap in well to their ability to hear. Next, we look at language. So within language, we look at how children are understanding what is being taught to them on a regular basis, understanding the ideas behind what they have learned. The children will then map these ideas into their existing pool of knowledge within their heads, try and make sense of things, and then, after considering what others have said to them, they formulate a reply using words efficiently to present their original thoughts in their reply. So this delicate art of careful consideration is something that happens in everyday classroom. And just reflect on the amount of language that is required for learning to take place on an everyday basis. It's quite a lot, isn't it? Next, we look at literacy. When a child is able to learn from spoken instruction, the child is able to learn from written ones. Let's dive straight into audition. We are using the sense that we are given to make sense of language. At 24 to 28 weeks of gestation, a fetus can hear in utero. So by birth, the infant has already had several weeks of experience with the native language and is able to show preference to mommy's voice and is able to come with mommy's voice. In the first year of life, the speech perception of a child continues to improve as he hones in on phonemes or sounds that are prominent in his native language. So this process starts in the second half of the first year. And by about 10 to 12 months old, the infant maintains only sensitivities for his native language. This is made possible through the experiences that he had interacting with his native language. This is a silent but important process. If this process is skipped, their perception of speech will be like strings of sounds, not knowing when words begin or end, and it is hard to make meaning out of the words that they have heard. So a little bit like the comic strip that I've attached there. A lot of the time, hearing doesn't get enough attention from parents. In fact, multiple studies have shown that children who have a mild hearing loss are 10 times more likely to fail at least one grade compared to average school-wide rates of grade retention. 22 to 47% of children with only a mild hearing loss have repeated a grade. This is a significantly higher rate compared to peers with normal hearing. Furthermore, the rates of grade retention have been found to increase with age and with the degree of hearing loss. So as you can see, hearing is very important for language acquisition. So having said that, I hope that parents have a renewed understanding of why speech therapists and pediatricians keep asking relentlessly for your child's hearing status. Next, we move on to language. At 2 to 5 years old, there is usually a rapid expansion of your child's language. Children at this stage not only can express their immediate needs through language, but will also use language creatively to play. By about 5 years old, children can use language to express lots of ideas within the play context that adults might not know just by glancing at their play for brief moments. However, these adults might be brought into a magical world if they join in with their play. So I want you to look at the Bloom and Leahy model. In this model, we see that language is made up of form, content, and use. In form, we are looking at sentence structure, word order, and grammar as a whole. In content, we are looking at word meaning or vocabulary. And in use, we are looking at whether the language used fits the situation and how aware this child is to the unseen social rules in a social setting. The sweet spot that we want all our kids to be in, of course, is that middle where all three circles overlap. We want the children to be able to have good form, content, and use of language at all situations. So when they have a good grasp of language, they will also increase their abilities to manipulate individual phonemes within words. For example, they will know that cat, hat, mat are rhyming words, and they may be able to take apart k, at to make cat. These are emerging phonological awareness skills that lay the great foundation for great literacy skills. And next, we move on to literacy. This is always a big component when it comes to formal education, be it at grade 1 or at primary 1. The ability to read and write is always so desirable for these older children, but literacy does have humble roots. If you look intently at the diagram, you will see that reading comprehension, which is a portion of literacy, comes from listening comprehension and decoding. These two essential skills are the ability to sound words out from a page and the ability to hear and understand language. Of course, both skills must reach a certain level of competence, and together they work in synchrony to enable the child to understand the contents from the printed page. So if your child is starting to talk later than other children, should you be worried? Well, you know your child, you understand exactly what he means when he points to the door, and you remember what other children did when they are at that same age. It is normal for you to compare your child to the other children that you know of. It is also normal to worry if you think that your child is not keeping up. You may have also seek advice from others only to get answers like, oh yeah, my son was slow too, but now he won't shut up. Or, don't worry, she will outgrow it. Your doctor might not tell you to worry until your child is older or until they are able to track it better on their developmental scales or when they are closer to school going age. And they might be right. I want you to remember that spoken language is part of the process and it is not enough if you want your child to be academically successful. For normal hearing, normal developing children, it takes them 6 to 7 years to be fluent speakers, ready to learn academic content within a school setting by listening alone. To be fluent readers, ready to learn academic content by reading, that will take probably 8 to 10 years. So, if a 3-year-old child is able to speak fluently to get his immediate needs met, that is really awesome. But if this happens to be a 5-year-old child who is still getting his immediate needs met, then this child might be at risk of struggling to function at a mainstream setting when it is his turn for primary 1. You know your child best. You don't have to wait and see if you think there might be a problem, and you don't have to guess if your child will catch up. You can get a speech therapist to see your child, and the speech therapist will talk about your concerns and test how your child understands, speak, and use gestures. A good speech therapist will be able to support your child and be able to bridge between gestural communication to spoken words. The speech therapist may also give you ideas on how to help your child talk. The home program that the speech therapist prescribes may also help facilitate your child's communication and help bridge the gap sooner. So, by changing his language developmental trajectory, we can all dream big once more. I hope you have enjoyed this little tutorial that is brought to you by Speech Therapy Adventures. I'm Naomi and I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye!